This is SCP Radio Network, coming to you live from Skylab Studios. Up next is Source Code News. This episode of Source Code News is brought to you by Parties for You. For the best margarita machine rentals in Houston, give them a call. 281-748-0057. That's 281-748-0057. By Cazadores Tequila. When you're in the mood for tequila, buy the best. Cazadores Tequila. And by Alberta's Best Bet Bail Bonds. Don't gamble with your freedom. Give them a call. 713-237-8238. That's 713-237-8238. Welcome to Source Code News, episode number 38, recorded on January 4th, 2018. Happy New Year's, everybody. Woo! Can I hear y'all? Are y'all there?
Yes. Happy New Year.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Yes.
Yay! Happy New Year!
Yay! All right. All right. This show brings you the latest in tech, science, and gaming news. We also be bringing you interesting interviews like the one we have today and much more. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and your favorite podcatcher. Follow us on YouTube, Mixcloud, and all of the social media sites. We do this show live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. We will be moving the time. I forgot to tell Brian. We're going to be moving to 9. It's going to be from 9 to 10, so we're going to be just doing an hour. Starting January 25th. The reason is we're going to have another show from 8 to 9. So we're going to have 30 minutes less, but we can work with that. Let me see. Go to scpradio.com to check out our audio and video streams. So you can go there. There's two little deals there. One's for audio. You can listen to us on the radio. So if you're driving, you listen to us there. And if you're at home, you can click on the video one and watch us right there on the video. So you can also join us on the chat room there. Or you can call in at 832-910-7727 to ask us a tech question or just to join the conversation. Because we got Faithy here. She can answer any tech question you got. So, we want to welcome back Brian. Yay, Brian's back. What's up, Brian?
Good to be back. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We also want to welcome Matt Bradford back. It's his, 1 year anniversary almost.
It is. I make an appearance every year. Hey, guys.
You need to start coming back sooner, man.
Yeah. 2 times a year.
2 times a year. Okay.
I love it.
All right. So yeah, Matt's been here. A year ago he was here on Source Code News, but see, we didn't interview him that time. But this time we're gonna interview him. Last time we just put him to work. He was just reading out, news articles. This time we're gonna interview
showed up
him.
and they're just like, read this stuff.
Yeah, here, read. Yeah, that's why probably he didn't come back for a year. He's like, no, they put me to work over there. Those guys.
Sure, he didn't even pay me.
He didn't even get paid, man. Hey, none of us get paid. Come on.
Yeah, pro bono. Yep.
Oh. I'm already here. Might as well stick around.
All right, so let me see. So we'll get to the interview after the news, after all the articles. All right, so last but not least, we want to thank Faith for being here and for producing the show. Yay, Faithy. All right. All right, so, okay, Brian, bring us up to speed on any new developments since the last show.
Sure. I think we had skipped the show, right? Of course, due to the holiday break, Christmas and all. So, related to that, not terribly eventful, but some interesting things that haven't happened to me before. Did a lot of traveling, visit some in-laws and my brother's family and my parents. And the in-law visit was something I'd never done before. It was to visit my wife's uncle's 105-year-old mother. Oh, wow. Last time I'd seen her was when she was 100. So definitely impressive milestone there. So when she was 100, I asked her what her secret to her longevity was. And she told me that up until, I guess maybe, late in her 90s or maybe mid-90s, can't forget exactly, she would have a glass of red wine, before we went to bed each night. So, something to think about. So I was also thinking, kind of help everybody out here. I know her daughter likes margaritas like I do. So I'm sure she would like the Cazadores tequila. So I was thinking about that when I saw her during that trip. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll hear more about that soon later in the show.
Oh yeah.
So the other thing that's new is my son got a Rick and Morty version of the classic Clue board game. So if you're not familiar with Rick and Morty, it's a show that we like. It's on Adult Swim, part of Cartoon Network, if I recall. I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, it's a good show. You should check it out. I'm sure the audience would love it. Now, if you're familiar with Clue, it's a whodunit, who did the crime, where, how, with what weapon, and let's see, what am I forgetting? Yeah, who, where, and what, meaning the weapon. So, but the twist on this Rick and Morty version, after reading through the rules, and I haven't played it yet, nobody has yet, there are a lot of little changes that make it almost a new game, I would say. So it's not as nearly simple as Clue, if you played that. So we're looking forward to playing that soon.
Can you shoot a portal gun in one room and appear in the other room?
That I haven't seen that in the rulebook yet, but I think that the gist of it is who stole, I think, the plans for Rick's portal gun. I think that's the whole idea. Right. So, but their twist, the board doesn't look at all like you would expect. It's more like a spacey galaxy map. Familiar characters are there, little icons. There's no car or thimble or the old style. It's all totally themed. So, itching to play it, but this week has been kind of busy getting back to work myself. No fun yet. So hopefully this weekend we'll have some fun. Cool. But yeah, I'll let you know how we find it. Yeah, right, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's about it. So how about you, Mike?
All right. So I started playing a game called Elite Dangerous. We had the holidays. I actually had a day or two that I could sit down and play on the Xbox One. And Elite Dangerous is a space sim. Have you heard of it, Matt?
Absolutely, I have. Yep.
Right.
I did some research on this game for the latest Guinness thing. It looks really good.
It is awesome. I wish I had time to play it. But it is freaking awesome. It's like everything I've ever wanted in a game, Well, what really got me going was I read what's the name of that book? Armada. Right. I read a book. Well, I didn't read it. I listened to it on Audible, but it's word for word. It's unabridged. And they were talking about, like dogfighting, the ships fighting in space. So it really, got me into wanting to play a game like that, And so I found Elite Dangerous. And that's what you can do. That you can fight against other ships, one-on-one, or be in the middle of a battlefield with all the ships going all crazy, everybody. And it's hard because, people can come from the bottom, from the top, from any which way.
Right.
Yeah, it's a sim. It's, like a simulator. It's not arcadey at all. So right. When I started playing it, they give you these training, missions, and they even have videos there. Like, here, watch this before you try the actual mission. It takes you to YouTube to watch. And then you come back to the game. Yeah, it takes you out of the game to YouTube, and then you hit back, and you're back in the game. And but it's pretty cool, and it's very technical. You got all these levers and buttons, and to land in a space station. The space station is like spinning, in outer space, and you kind of got to line up with it, and you have to. There's no auto nothing. You got to do it all yourself. So it's pretty awesome.
When you're in these fights, are you actually controlling the ship, or is it more just you're putting in commands like, okay, shoot?
No, you control the ship. Yourself. You're flying it. You're flying it and you're shooting. And there's even toward the bottom right hand side, there's a thing where it says, do you want to add more power to the engine, to the system, or to your weapons? Because the weapons have to recharge. So if you keep shooting, they'll slowly shoot because they're overheated or whatever. So you can add more power just to the weapons, and it'll they'll refresh faster, and it's very complex. It's really awesome.
Looks fun. This is not a game to get if you don't have time to play games.
I know, but I couldn't resist. Couldn't resist it. It's really awesome. It's just that, like I said, it's hard. The first time they tell you to dock, once I got inside, I was in there for like 20 minutes trying to land the thing. I didn't know where actually, because it tells you like this is the lane to land on. So I go and I slowly go down, but I'm on the ground. You have to release your what is the landing gear? It tells you, hey, you haven't done your landing gears. Oh, you do that, and then like I'm landing, but I'm not in the right exact spot. So it didn't, and I didn't know there was an exact spot, so I had to go back to YouTube and check it out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would give up. I mean, it's pretty, it's crazy. But I like that. That's awesome. I like that it's so like it's a simulator. Like if it's real, like you're like, wow, I could believe this would be a real spaceship,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So just in according to the like what is it, the biography, the bio for the game or whatever, it says there's 400 billion star systems you can explore. So I don't know what they mean by that. But one thing is you travel faster than light speed, right? So if you couldn't travel faster than light speed, you wouldn't be able to go to these places. Because some of them, like my the ship that I have, it only does 7. It only has the capability to jump 7 light years, I think. Yeah, 7 light years. So like if you're going somewhere that's 20 light years away, you have to, like, it's got like a GPS. It says, okay, well, we got to go to this star system, then to this star system, then to this star system, and finally get to that one. And it'll even like tell you to do it the certain way to save less, to spend less gas, to save on fuel, because you can get stuck. Which there's an article at the end of the, one of the last articles is where someone got stuck and was stuck out there, because it's when you're playing, other people are in the world, you're, it's like an MMO, so other people are there. So someone got stuck, and it took, I think, people 2 days of playing to get to where she was, to refuel her tank. That's funny. Yeah, so she could get back. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a crazy game. All right, so I also wanted to mention this last Saturday, it was our New Year's party. We were at Tumbleweeds music venue. DJ Jimmy Ray and DJ Fluffy both DJ'd in different parts of the club. It's a big venue. They have like a part of the venue is a restaurant. Then they have an outside, which they call a garden. And then, they had another DJ inside with bands. And so we were out there. We had our SCP radio, New Year's party there. And it was an awesome time. Even though it was freezing out there, it was pretty fun. So we did that. And then I also wanted to mention or send a shout out to Houston UE4 meetup. So that's the Unreal Engine 4 meetup. And a shout out to Anna Carolina Pereira and Jonathan Lambert. They're the organizers for the meetup. So those are the ones. It's January 18th. I told you a different date earlier. January 18th, I'm going to go over there. So we're not going to have a show that day. And I'm going to go and see if I can meet some game developers and, see if anybody wants to get interviewed, bring them to the show. So I guess that's it. And then, Matt, you got anything you want to,
oh, geez, I don't know.
Kind of like I think 10-second spotlight type thing.
Oh, 10-second spotlight.
Never heard that before.
No, it's, we've had, all of us have had kind of the last 2 weeks off, so the kids are home. I'm still doing a lot of work. As for new developments, nothing really. It's just been kind of quiet. I got a Nintendo Switch last week.
Cool.
I finally broke down and enjoyed the Nintendo Switch generation.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of digging it. I bought Super Mario Odyssey and Zelda, and I was just playing around with Super Mario, and of course Xander sees it, and now him and my wife Mariana, that's all. Like they play that all the time now. I don't even have time to play my own Switch, so it's out there in the room. I'm sitting here, I'm watching them play it during the day, and it's just kind of teasing me.
Yeah.
But I guess I should have known. Like, I can't, as a grown man, I can't buy Super Mario and not expect, like, my kids to want to play it. So I guess that's on me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, no, I just been pretty busy work-wise and pretty boring social life-wise. So there you go.
Hey man, that's cool. But the Switch thing, I got one for my son, and
Nice.
yeah, he loves that thing. I've played it once before. The Street Fighter. You know, I'm more of a fighting game, you know, type. And they had that new Street Fighter on there, so I played that until he came and took it away from me. So yeah, it's a cool device, you know.
You know what I love about the Switch, and I won't get too much into it. I love that because we have so little time to game these days. I love that I can sit down, press a button, and I'm playing like in 2 seconds. The Switch, whereas like PlayStation 4, it's load up. You're 5 minutes until you're into the game. You miss that window.
Yeah.
Switch, I'm just like, okay, she's going to the washroom. Here we go. I'm gonna do a level while she's gone. Right. So
Awesome. Yeah.
I love that. I love that just ease into the game nature of the Switch.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't have that much experience with it, so yeah, I didn't know how fast it is to get into a game, but that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know, playing.
These days, just sneaking in gaming whenever you can get it.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into some tech news.
I'll do it.
Tech news.
All right, let me see. LG shows off the world's first 88-inch 8K OLED display. So I'm showing off that one because that's the one I'm going to see if my wife wants to buy me for my birthday. Yeah, right. That's probably like 30,000. They don't have a price on it.
I don't think they sell this
No,
at 8K.
it's not. No. So
8K.
let me see. Just as 4K and HDR are finally going mainstream, the ambitious folks at LG Display have also been busy pushing its OLED technology to 8K. So come CES, the Korean manufacturer will be letting attendees get up close with its new 88-inch 8K OLED display, which is both the largest and the highest resolution OLED panel to date. And that's all the specs we have. They didn't, you know, they didn't mention anything else. I guess we'll know when CES, you know, comes. Or when is CES? Is it on now? I haven't even.
What's
Yeah, I don't
CES
remember
is the one in New Vegas, or not New Vegas.
Yeah, it's in Las Vegas. Yeah,
In
Las
Las
Vegas?
Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I thought it usually starts right away, the beginning of the year. I don't know. I didn't check. I should have looked.
You know, this is one of those things that comes out like 10 years before it's going to hit consumers, right? So
yeah,
I can imagine the thing is, it's going to be 8K. You won't be able to actually tell what it looks like until you actually see one. Like, you can't watch a news report on this thing because you're watching it through your 1080p TV, right? So you're not going to be able to actually see what these TVs are like.
no.
Do I sound like an old fuddy dud? Like, I don't know why I need 8K.
No.
4K to me is just like, I can touch these people. What is 8K going to do?
Yeah, but see, I
You can
haven't.
touch two people.
So-
Twice as many.
Twice
Yeah,
as many
right.
people.
I have a 4K, a 60-inch 4K TV, and I really once I upgraded from, you know, a 50-inch 1080p. I'm like, not seeing much of a difference. I mean,
Oh,
no,
don't say that around too many people.
I
'cause
know,
They get mad.
I know, but I mean, I guess if I put them side by side, then maybe I probably would see the difference. But I mean, truthfully, I even got my son's. I went and pulled because see, I have the first Xbox One, the original,
Right.
the OG, and
The OG Xbox.
my son has the S. So
Yeah.
one day when he wasn't home, that was the only way I could do it. But when he wasn't home, I went into his room, pulled out the Xbox One S, put it in the living room because it'll handle a 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
You know, so I have a 4K. I only have one 4K Blu-ray.
Fast and the Furious.
No, which is it? The 4K Blu-ray. What's his face?
La La Land.
No, no. Deadpool.
Oh, hey, cool. All right.
So I
Yeah.
have Deadpool, and so I put it on. I said, "Oh, I'm excited! I'm gonna rewatch Deadpool, but it's HDR, it's 4K." Yeah, I wasn't too impressed. I was like, "Really? I don't see."
I'm the same way, and I've got friends who swear that like going back to 1080p is fuzzy to them, that they can't watch it. I'm like, you're on crack, dude.
Yeah.
Brian's shaking his head like the These idiots. They don't know what 4K is.
I don't know what it is actually because I'm probably the last person in the world. I just got a flat screen about maybe 4 years or so ago. I was using CRTs, and then the last of our 2 CRTs caught on fire at 3 in the morning. So that was a lovely smell to wake up to. Yeah, it was literally on fire in the inside. So we threw it outside of the house, obviously, and it was
these things.
It was junk. Yeah, I don't know. Must be a Texas thing. But I was gonna say CES Tech. Yeah. The website says CES is January 9th through 12th.
9th. Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, you're right. It's around the corner.
Yeah.
So I've never been to it myself, but definitely have heard about it. So maybe one day I'll get a 4K when they're probably almost obsolete. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. Well, I guess Brian, take the next one.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, this one have a kind of tangential experience with. It is the article is called "Huge Intel CPU Bug Allegedly Causes Kernel Memory Vulnerability with Up to 30% Performance Hit in Windows and Linux." That's a long title, but you might have seen some I don't know, tweets and articles in CNN or whatnot about this. So this affects probably quite a few people. The article reports that initially the Python or websites called Python Sweetness and the Register reported that Intel might have a severe chip-level security bug that affects all modern Intel processors dating back about a decade. So that's significant. I think in terms of billions of devices, small, big, whatever. So let's see. The fix requires a patch at the operating system level, so that's probably a good amount of work. On the Linux side, the kind of competitor with Microsoft operating systems like Windows, already distributed the patches, and Microsoft is expected to start soon. And as a matter of fact, one of the sysadmins in my work team has noticed this. We do have some servers in the cloud space, quite a few, and he noticed that there's some patching and whatnot going on through, I guess, automatic deployments. I haven't seen it myself, but that was part of our kind of work chats today. So it's kind of affecting us, and I'm sure a lot more people. Wow. So, but I guess the gist of it is there can be a performance hit. They're estimating up to 30% or maybe more. So that's pretty significant. So that's like taking out 20, 30, maybe 40% of your CPU time, and thus would slow down the whole computer.
Not good.
So, not good at all. So, we'll see how this affects everybody at large.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well,
good luck to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is they got the patch. They're sending out the patch. So
better late than never, right?
Yeah. That's why everybody needs to update their computer. Especially if you got a Microsoft computer, when that patch comes in, you need to update it.
Oh, those updates are so annoying, though, man.
Yeah, they are.
They're ridiculous. I'll be working. I'll just be like, "Hey, it's time to update your computer." But no, I've got a project that's due. It's like, no, I'm going to turn off now and update the next hour.
Yep. Exactly. And that's happened when we're about to start DJing. Damn, laptop does that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
People are like,
33%.
Hey. Yeah. And the people are like, "Hey, y'all gonna start?" Oh yeah, in a little bit.
My mic was off. Is this better?
Huh?
Mic was just. It's my mic. My snowball's been off this entire time. You must have been getting my laptop mic.
Oh, for real? I couldn't tell. Sound good?
Yeah. Sound the same? Yeah. To me, yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, okay.
Just maybe I just knocked it off with all that update talk. All right, I'm good.
All
right.
You want to get the next one, Matt?
Oh, yeah. Okay. First of all, I like the way you wrote this, but if I read it, it's going to sound like I'm reading it. So I'm just going to... Can I freestyle this one?
Go for it, whatever.
I was reading when I saw it, because but I read this on Reddit as well. So if you got a prepaid debit card for Christmas, and I think a lot of people did, because a lot of people are lazy, and they're just like, here, have some money on a card.
Yep.
Don't throw it out. If you're done, if you gotten rid of the cash on, this is, I guess, more of like a life pro tip from Source Code News. If you got all the cash off of it, keep it, for all those free trials on the internet, right? Those ones that are like, yeah, you can have the service for 2 months free, but we're going to absolutely keep charging you because you're going to forget about it after a year. Use this for that so they can't get any money off of you. Blood from a stone.
Yeah.
It's a good tip.
Very
like
good
it.
tip. I love it. That's why I put it in.
But typically, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I mean, I've got 2 charges coming off my credit card that I have no idea what they are. And I've tried to do research. I was like, how do I stop? I guess I phoned my credit card company, but like, I'm afraid this is like an essential service for my business that I'm not aware of. I just keep paying it, but I wish I did this so I can actually like keep track of all these things.
That is true.
Yeah. I was going to ask, I've never personally used a prepaid debit card nor given one. So what would the, I guess, expiration date typically be? Is it in terms of a year, or?
I think a lot of them it's illegal now to have an expiration date, at least in Canada. So a lot of them are indefinite, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because the other day I found one that I got last Christmas, not this Christmas that passed, and I had it in a closet in a little bucket there. I found two. One was one of those MasterCard things, and I think it had $40, and another one was for some food place, and it had another $20 or $40, and they were from the last Christmas. I hadn't used them. Yeah, so I just right away I called the number, activated them, and I had money there. Bam. So
well, I think there was a figure, and I'm going to totally make this up, but it was something like in the billions of unclaimed gift cards, right?
Oh shit!
It's just free money that you give these companies, and you just forget about them, and you never spend them. But it's you just went to a store and said, "Here's $20. I might buy something later," and you never do. So keep track of that stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that. All right.
Well, now you did.
Yeah, now I got you. Okay.
Knowing's half the battle.
Go, Joe.
Yeah. G.I. Joe, yeah.
You want to take this one, Brian?
I'm sorry?
You want to take the next one?
Oh, yeah, sure. This one's called the Alibaba browser no one's heard of is dethroning Google in Asia. So this caught my attention a few days ago. And Alibaba is that, I guess it's kind of like, feel free to chime in. It's, I guess like the Amazon in China, right? It's website where you buy just whatever, a bunch of things. So the salient points here would be that hundreds of millions, and so it's hundreds of millions of people in India, Indonesia, and other emerging markets who are getting online for the very first time are picking this browser called the UC browser. I didn't really see what it stands for, but it's UC browser. And again, it's owned by by Alibaba. And of course, we're all familiar with Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and other assorted browsers. So definitely, if you're a Chrome user, maybe you should give this a try. So the users who like UC browser say that it works in countries that are heavy in use by low-end smartphones and spotty mobile service. So, like I said, developing countries that might not have the infrastructure that other countries do. So the browser is tiny in footprint, meaning probably just very small type code, just doesn't blow up your phone, it runs quickly, and also it has a portal-like approach to showing news and sports scores. So apparently that's what they like. So, and some numbers here are that the UC browser has over 430 million users worldwide, and about half of India's mobile internet browser market. So that's a pretty appreciable chunk. I really, truthfully, never heard about this browser before, so that's why I picked the article to talk about it. So according to Google, its Chrome browser has about 1 billion users worldwide, and StatCounter says that Chrome has about 47% of the worldwide market, versus UC browser 16% worldwide share. So I mean, UC browser is it's kind of like awakening a little slumbering giant here.
Where's Bing in that? What's the Bing share?
Is Bing still around?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. That article. I mean, it's actually.
Don't worry, I don't want to make you research on this.
Oh
spot.
yeah,
I was just wondering. Yeah,
it's not mentioned. I don't recall. Yeah, it's mentioned there. Bing in particular. So, yeah, we don't know, but something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bing is under 1%.
Oh, yeah,
it's like 2 people at Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, the QA department and the developer, but
That's-
yeah, okay, yeah, I don't use Bing personally, but
I don't think
Anyway.
anybody does.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
All right. So the next one would be. I just put this in there because we're DJs and stuff.
Cool story, man. I like this story.
The newest DJ at this Prague nightclub is, I guess, Kuka Arm Robot. So a club.
DJ Kuka Arm Robot. Sorry.
Ba, 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 ba. All right, so a club in Prague named Karlovy Lazin, I don't know, has recently introduced a robot DJ that alternates with a human to program music for the dance floor throughout the night. So it's been in rotation for a few weeks. The robot has software that allows it to choose songs, select CDs from a rack, and insert them into CDJs, and then play the songs. And it has some dance moves. It says it has some pretty sweet dance moves. So it's just a
Can it do the
freaking
robot?
It does the robot. So I don't know. I mean,
Or the human?
it's more of a, how do you call it? Or do the human? It's more of a, I say it's more like a little gimmick, get people to come in and look at it. It's an arm that they use like at to put cars together, it's one of those type of arms for for the automotive industry, and they just adapted it to do this DJ thing. But I mean, I thought it was kind of cool that it can actually pick up a CD and put it in the CDJ. I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but I guess it's a robot arm. I guess they can tell it exactly where everything is, so it can be exact, right? But for it to be DJing, see, like they said, they don't know if it actually mixes the music, if it just hits play and you have a song that ends, and then the next song you hit play and it starts. That's not really a DJ. That's just someone playing music. But but yeah, because they were like, I don't think it takes into consideration like the key, the BPMs, the genre, stuff like that. It doesn't know how to read the crowd. Are people not dancing to this? Let's go to a different genre. Let's take the song off, go to the next song, whatever. So I don't know. I think it's more of a gimmicky thing, but I'm pretty sure people are like, oh, let's go at least once to go see this robot DJ. Go take a selfie with it, and then go don't go back. I don't know.
So what is CG? Sorry, what does CDJ stand for? What's the J part? Is that jacket or
I know
jockey? What's the
CDJs? Yeah, DJ. It's C is for the CD. And then
so it's just the J is for jockeying.
DJ,
jockey?
Yeah, disc
Okay.
jockey, yeah.
Okay,
But CDJs are turntables that DJ Jimmy Ray, that's what he uses. He has the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s or something like that. But that's
I think
what
you
they
told
are.
me about that. Yeah.
CDJs.
couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
That what was it that first day or when you were here? I think.
Yeah.
when
I
you're
think so.
here at the
Yeah.
studio.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
those are real expensive. They're made by Pioneer. So those are like top of the line. That's what most big clubs they have CDJs.
Ah, okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
So at least the robot's using high quality equipment.
Yeah.
So all right, let's get into some science.
Science news.
All right. Matt, you want to try to take this one, or you want me to take
Yeah, no, let's do this. Let's do this. I was reading through this, so if you're familiar with Westworld, this might appeal to you, or just sci-fi in general. It's pretty crazy. So, scientists hack cells to create 3D shapes from live tissue. So, you've heard about 3D printing organs in a hospital setting, or that concept of using other materials to create organs, so synthetic materials. Well, I guess a bunch of scientists, UCSF scientists, University of California, San Francisco?
don't know.
Okay. Scientists at UCSF have discovered that they can hack special cells that help fold tissue, I'm going to mispronounce this, mesenchymal cells, to create 3D shapes out of live tissue. So I mean, I guess it's a pretty small scale right now. So instead of using these synthetics, latex, whatever, you can actually just work directly with cells and get them to recombine into 3D shapes, is what they're saying. The applications of this are pretty scary, or I guess cool, depending on where you lie on this. But so they're saying you could create soft robots from biomaterial, basically, that can grow.
Yeah.
That's where the Westworld connection comes in for me. But and then it can, obviously you can create organs that are specifically matched to the person that they're going into. So I guess there's a lot of very interesting health applications this could be used for. I'm thinking of the supervillain applications. If you can recombine cells any way you want, I mean that's opening the doors to some weird experimentation stuff. So
yeah,
it's interesting that this kind of experimentation is happening, and that we're at this point where we're retooling the actual building blocks of life.
Yep.
In this way, so. I don't know, man. I'm glad I'm gonna be gone in about 50 years. Sounds like the robot revolution.
No, you won't. We'll just print more of you, or just whatever falls off.
Man.
Yeah. So that way you can keep going out into space with all of us there. Yeah, explore new worlds, right? Yeah, it could be.
It's interesting. Well, speaking of exploring new worlds, segue.
Yes. Very good,
Brian.
So, thanks for that. Yes, and this is. Let me just start backwards, maybe on my notes here. The article, let me just quote the title. It's "A Physicist Pushes for Interstellar Travel." The scientist is named Les Johnson, and he's a researcher at NASA George C. Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And he has degrees in chemistry and physics. And the personal note is my son and I went to a book talk of his. It was in, let me see my notes, in April in Houston. So we didn't go there. He conveniently met us. So we also got two of his books at the time, his most recent novels autographed. So that was cool. And most of his talk was about this very article. So when I saw it, I thought very appropriate. The article is about using that might be on the display. I can't see it myself, but a material that he's holding, that picture, let's just call them solar sails. It looks like saran wrap. It's a very thin, I don't know exactly how it's made, but it's very, very thin, lightweight material that captures energy emitted by the sun, the photons, and think of the photons as the same, as wind in sails on Earth. So the photons are hitting this material and accelerating the craft very, very slowly. I think it was extremely slowly. I don't know the rate or the speed, but I think it would take quite a few years maybe to reach appreciable speed. Anyway, the test of this craft is scheduled for sometime in 2019, and its destination is an asteroid that's about 50 meters across, so I guess not terribly large, but it orbits the sun just like the Earth does. And at least one of the objectives is to see if it's a possible destination for a visit by humans. So they're going to photograph, I think that the metric is about 85%. They're estimating they could photograph the entire surface area of this asteroid and see if we could land there. So that would be cool. So Les Johnson is quite a proponent of this because issue is, when you lift off a rocket, you have to carry the fuel. And on Earth, that weighs a lot, so you have to get the balance right. If it's too much fuel, you might not be able to lift off if it's not efficient enough. But with this, the craft essentially carries its own. Well, it doesn't really have fuel.
Yeah, just the
it's
sail.
kind of sort of built in.
Yeah.
Because the sun is hitting it and supplying it with the energy it needs to move. So he's a full-blown science type of guy, scientist, but he does write quite a few books, some fiction and some nonfiction. I think we have one of each, just to kind of get a flavor or taste of what he writes. I haven't read them yet, honestly, but I'll get there one day. So so it's pretty cool.
Cool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually, that solar cell stuff is actually gonna they're gonna try it out.
Yeah,
next year,
I didn't mention this. I think in the same article, Japan, I think it was it's 2018. I think sometime last year, Oh no, maybe it was a couple years ago. Did something similar. I don't know if they use exactly the same material. Maybe it was the same idea, because of course Japan's not exactly NASA, but maybe they have some kind of agreement or collaboration or whatnot. But I think it was a couple years ago something was launched, and but this might be a bigger, more aggressive kind of operation to get to that asteroid. I don't have the name. It's a huge coded name. I didn't bother to write it down, but it's one of those obscure codified names of an asteroid, like most of them are. So,
Oh yeah.
anyway, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
So good luck to them. Hope it works out.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the one that Matt's gonna go on. We're gonna make him a
Yep.
big old spaceship with a solar cell and
Do it up, man.
yep.
There. I'll podcast from that thing while I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, video
Yeah.
podcast.
You need to get one of those robot arms that can, help you
DJ.
DJ on the way.
The Canadarm. Called
Oh, yeah.
Canadarm 2.
That's
Yep.
true. Yeah, it's if my son were here, he likes the Canadarm. I always mention him in these casts because most of what I talk about, he's interested in. Yeah, he loves the Canadarm. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Anyway, sorry.
All right.
Tell me sorry.
So let me see. The first blue moon, total lunar eclipse in 150 years coming this month. So the first eclipse of 2018 will be a lunar one that comes at the very end of the month on January 31st. It will be a total eclipse that involves the second full moon of the month, and it's referred to as the blue moon. It hasn't happened for 150 years. So maybe we should pay attention because it's been 150 years.
So.
Although they were saying that, I mean, there's other, eclipses, but this one is kind of special because they call it the blue moon because it's like it's at the point where it's closest to Earth or something. And so it's bigger, in size. And of course they say you look at this and then you look at one from previous, you really wouldn't be able to tell. But it is actually bigger. It looks bigger to us, but we can't see it with our eyes. We can't see that there's a difference in size. But they're like, believe us, it is. It does look bigger.
Trust us.
And yeah, trust us. But they did say it is gonna be it's the biggest one, and it's gonna be a complete eclipse of it. So the Faith, Faithy doesn't have a mic. I was gonna ask Faithy if she knew. Normally, that's what I do is ask Faithy. Do you know how the moon is gonna be eclipsed? Do you know that, Faith?
No.
Okay, she said no. So the Earth is gonna get in between. What? No, yeah. Oh, the sun and all right, the sun and the moon. Okay, so anyways, but yeah, so January 31st. There's gonna be the full moon, and it's gonna be an eclipse, so y'all need to check it out. I just put it in there just so y'all can keep an eye out. I mean, it's cool. Take your kids out and observe these things, especially like they say it's been 150 years since the last one happened. So
There you go.
and let me see, it'll be when's the next one? Go all back. See, so the last one was in March 31st, 1866. So come on. And the next one, they're saying will be December 31st, 2028. So,
Hey, Brian, didn't you say like your mom-in-law or her mom was like 160 years old or something?
No, 105.
105.
My
Oh, okay.
wife's uncle's mom, but
That-
This
that's
would be
close.
like the second time she saw it, right?
well, maybe if she gets that organ 3D printing
The
stuff,
3D
you
printing?
never know.
Yeah.
Gotta hurry up though. Perfect that technology. So yeah, but I was gonna say the article does say northwestern Canada, so that's not you. You won't be able to
No,
see it. So wrong side, right?
Northwestern, wouldn't that be like Alaska?
yeah,
Oh,
Alaska,
Way, yeah. It says northwestern Canada. Yeah.
Hawaii,
yeah.
Alaska,
Yeah.
North and
Yeah,
Central
so-
America. So
Yeah.
cool. All right. Anybody want to take the raw water one?
I don't know.
Okay. Brian, or I'll take it.
Go for it.
All right. So, raw water is the latest pseudoscientific craze that could make you sick. So, the rich people are buying raw water, unfiltered water, untreated water, that's expensive, straight out of the
Yeah.
ground.
Yuck.
Yeah, so they're like it's raw. It's got all the minerals and the scientists are saying yep, and all the microbes that can be deadly.
That's disgusting, man.
Yeah, so I'm not. It's because you know how they put fluoride in our water supply.
Yeah.
It helps strengthen teeth. And people think for some reason that fluoride is a mind controlled drug, where there's no evidence of this, but people think that. Let me see. And so disinfecting water is key for preventing the spread of dangerous viruses, bacteria, and parasites. And these people are not disinfecting anything. They're just drinking it straight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is... I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but just, pseudoscience. Some idiot came out and said, oh, everybody needs to drink raw water. It's better for you. And people believe them, and they spend all this money. So, people do y'all's research before you, before you start doing something, especially raw water. Come on. What is that?
Yeah. That's got to be just like a common sense living person thing, right? Like,
I think so.
like animals know not to drink like just disgusting water. Why are we think we're smart enough to be like, no, it's good for us.
It's good.
Let's do it.
Yes.
My cat knows not to drink dirty water. Like,
yeah. So,
that's dumb.
anyways, all right. So let's move on. Let's go into some gaming news.
Game news.
And you can start playing that one and then just slowly mute it. So we're going to mention this one first. Is fans created newer Super Mario Brothers DS. Except that it's not for the DS. It's for the PC or Mac. But it's like a DS game.
On a PC or Mac.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool though. So they hacked the original one and then just made their own levels again, like a Super Mario Maker, basically.
Yeah, Super Mario Editor.
Yeah.
It's a patch for the original ROM. And
Okay.
it's 80 levels across 8 world maps. They've made some changes to graphics and even a new soundtrack. So right now I have on our screen we have the video of it.
I wanna check this out.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, and I
That's
think
kinda neat.
it's
Yeah.
free. I think it's free because I mean it's fan made. And usually these things are free. You probably go and just click download and play it on your computer.
Nintendo gonna take this down within a day. No, they're bad about this stuff. Nintendo, if anyone tries to make a fan project for its Super Mario, they ixnay it pretty quickly.
Yeah, or maybe you have to have a. Well, no, if it's the computer, maybe you have to have the ROM.
Yeah.
The NES ROM or whatever, the DS ROM, and then you can hack it with whatever you download.
Maybe this was pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So let me see. It says it's made by the same team behind newer Super Mario Brothers Wii, which came out a few years back. So I'm wondering if that's another hacked thing, newer Super Mario Brothers.
Sounds like
Yeah, probably right. All right. You want to take the Civ 6 match or?
I will.
All right.
I will. This one I understand. So Civilization 6 was released on iPad, which came as something of a surprise for people. Civilization 6 is a pretty meaty game on PC. So to come for iPad, I mean iPads are pretty powerful, but this is it's kind of a surprise. And apparently it's doing really well. It's not some stripped down version. This is the real deal. It's the full release. And people are saying it's a pretty big game. It looks almost as good as the PC version. Touchscreen controls feel mostly natural. It's one of the most finely implemented PC to mobile ports to date, which is high praise.
Yep.
Now, this is one of those games. I've played past Civilization games. This is one of those games where you start playing just to kill time, and like 3 hours go by, and you're like, "Where am I?
Yeah.
I haven't slept or eaten in a whole day." Like this is one of those games that eats your life up. So
Oh, yeah.
if you download this, yeah, just know that this is going to be a very addictive game. It's one of those. It's a civilizations building game, like the thing suggests, right? So you start from a tiny peasant, you
Yep.
work your way up through the ages, fighting other civilizations, doing diplomacy acts with other famous people throughout time. It's a really fantastic game, but so it's kind of neat that it's on iPad. I think that's a good place for it. Take it on the go.
I think so. Especially if you have one of those, the new iPad Pros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got one for my wife. Was it last year? Yeah, that's a very nice iPad. You know, I had one of I think the 3rd generation, and it's not really usable now. But but hers is awesome. So, and she's even got
They're powerful,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, they're like they're pretty much computers
Yeah,
now.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
they're saying this game is normally $60, but it's on sale right now for 30.
Well, there you go.
So,
And even if you don't get it for iPad, check it out on PC because it's definitely worth it.
oh yeah. How do you call it? It's one of those, like Mark said when he was here. One more turn. It's a turn.
Yeah.
It's a turn-based game. So you're like, one more turn. I'll go to sleep after one more turn, and then you're like, one more turn.
Yeah, I'll just finish this battle. Maybe I should build this city hall. No.
Yeah. And you never end. Yeah.
Yep, we've all been there.
Yep. All right. So, I guess I'll take, or Brian, you want to take the next one?
I'll take a stab at this. So, the elite dangerous pilot rescued after being stranded outside Galaxy. This is kind of what you were summarizing before, right? When you were talking about your experience with the game. So,
Yep.
An explorer in the game, Elite Dangerous, was stranded outside, I guess, our galaxy, was rescued by a trio of pilots who flew out to get her. And apparently it took a couple days to plan and execute because of the distances. And I'm sure, like you mentioned, I'm sure there are variability in the light speed of the ships and whatnot. So the explorer, I guess with the name of Commander Persera, I guess that's how you say it,
Yeah.
was returned to our galaxy, the Milky Way, after setting a record for traveling further from Sol or the sun more than any other player. So I'm sure she probably spent a lot of time playing that.
Yes.
And the quote here is, it feels like both one of the shortest and longest weeks of my life. So can't say I played the game myself, but it sounds interesting the more we talk about it. So so apparently, let me see, try to summarize it a little bit more. Well, there's a lot of good detail in here, but I guess that just goes to show that there are some nice people out there in the gaming world who are willing to cross galaxies for you. I guess.
Yeah, I know.
So,
that's crazy. They I think these guys that helped her are from you can go to their website and send them a message and say, "Hey, I'm out of gas. Can you come and help me?"
Oh, it's like Interstellar AAA or something.
Yeah. like
in the U.S. I don't know what you have in Canada there, but
AAA sounds about right.
yeah, sounds right.
Okay.
CAA, yeah.
But that's what they
yeah,
are.
true.
They're like the AAA. They how do you call it? You can get in touch with them and say, "Hey, I'm out here," and you give them your coordinates, and they'll get in the game and go look for you and go give you gas.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what they're called, fuel rats, but yeah, I've heard someone else mention it when I was looking up other information on the game, and I was like, "What? You can ask them to come and give you gas." That's kind of awesome though. That you can meet anybody out there.
I wonder if that's by design or a bug in the game that you can run out of fuel and
it's by design.
I mean,
it's a sim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
real consequences, right?
Oh yeah,
No.
it's a sim.
Yeah.
When you're playing a sim, they try to make everything as realistic as possible, and you have to keep an eye on your gas. I noticed there. I can't get it because you got to buy it, but there's this scoop that you can put in the front of your spaceship, and it can like pick up raw material and convert it into gas. But you got to buy that. You buy that once you got a lot of money. So like me, once I get to a, you know, when you get to the place, it's you end up at their star or whatever galaxy you're at. You end up at their star, and you can go to the whatever station they have. And once you go to a station, you better fill up, because I almost was out of fuel and I was already getting scared. I was like, oh crap, I couldn't find a space station. I stopped at 2 different galaxies or whatever, and they didn't have any ports. It was like unknown, you know, worlds and stuff. So I was like, oh crap. But yeah, I was getting all nervous and stuff.
Right on.
Yeah, but it's
I like games like this because it's organic storytelling. Like, you just do your own thing, and your story is going to be different from the guy next to you who's playing, right? Because it's all about the people you encounter, that just how the variables come together to create a different play experience for everyone. So I think we're going to get so many more games like that just because of computing power, where you can procedurally generate these scenarios where you just get in a spaceship and fly off, discover a planet, start a war with someone, and it's a completely different game for you than someone else. I think that's neat.
Yep. Alrighty, so the next game that we're going to mention here is Debris.
I like this game. It's a good game.
Have you heard of this, Matt?
Yeah.
So it says escape together or die alone.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Debris is an atmospheric single-player co-op adventure game set in a surreal frozen ocean. Trapped in the depths, you must reach the surface to survive. Power is scarce, your team is lost, and unusual creatures lurk in the darkness.
Oh, like my cat here. What the hell? Come on.
So, okay,
Yeah.
reset it and play the sound. Hit pause. All right, so let's actually watch this trailer. Listen to it right quick. Go.
Yeah, let's listen to this trailer.
I know how it happened. I'm worried about why.
What am I supposed to say to that? Alta wants to kill us because we saw a fish? Why are you so paranoid? Ryan, how are we going to get out of here alive?
We'll just follow the current and hope it takes us back up to the surface. Where's Chris?
I don't know. Scans aren't picking him up anywhere.
They shouldn't be here.
Chris. Ryan. Please. Where is everyone? Oh my god. What's that?
System status. Emergency. High pressure shields enabled. Process enabled.
Ryan? Don't leave me down here.
Okay, cool.
That's it. That's the game.
That's the game. That guy sounded familiar though. I don't know.
Hey guys, we're under this ocean. We need help.
That's pretty awesome. All right. So before we get into the interview, let's play a couple of commercials.
Cool. I gotta get my hair all good for this interview.
Which one?
It's Cazadores or Parties for You. Hey bartender, we need a round of shots.
Do you want what everybody else is having, or do you want the best of the best?
Of course we want the best of the best.
Well then, Tequila Cazadores is the one for you.
For those special moments in your life, whether it's a special occasion or just a day relaxing with your friends, drink the best of the best, Tequila Cazadores.
Hey Michelle, my birthday's around the corner. I want to throw a big party and wow my guests, but I don't know what to do.
All you have to do is call SCP for your DJ needs and Parties for You for your margarita rentals. They have the best margarita mixes in town. With these two companies, you will wow your guests. They will talk about your party for years to come. For your margarita rentals, look us up on Facebook, Parties for You.
Or call 281-748-0057.
And don't forget to mention SCP sent you.
Together, we are the future of entertainment.
All right, and our last, but not least, sponsor is Miss Alberta's Best Bet Bail Bonds. So if you or someone you know are always getting into trouble on the weekends when you're out partying, be sure to remember this number, 713-BEST-BET. That's 713-BEST-BET for Alberta's Best Bet Bail Bonds. Don't gamble with your freedom. Give them a call and let them know that SCP Radio sent you. All right, so let's get back to the show and get into an interview. Oh, wait, we're back up. All right, cool. All right, so I didn't do my research, so Brian, take over. No, I'm playing.
Okay.
All right, so that little trailer we watched before the ads, Debris, that's the game you're in, right, Matt?
That's the one. That's Debris, made by Moonray Studios.
Awesome.
Which is a studio out in Hamilton, Ontario, in Canada, for you American people.
Canada, where is that at? Okay, so is this the first game you've ever voiced?
No, I voiced a couple of smaller projects. One of them was a mobile game that's not out yet, but I voiced that about 2 years ago. It's called Raise the Dead.
Oh.
It's supposed to be coming out soon. I keep checking the website, seeing what's coming out. But this is the first big game.
Big, yeah.
Since I started getting into voice acting, which is fairly exciting for me. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I saw. So it's like first-person shooter, right? This one. It's kind of.
Yeah. I want to say, if you're familiar with like Firewatch and those type of games, it's more of a
story driven.
It's very story driven. There is a lot of action in it. Without giving too much away, I mean, I'm part of a 3-person diving team who's trying to make a commercial underwater for this alternate energy source, this company that's using this alternate energy source called Debris. And we go down there just intending to take some footage of the debris. The shelf collapses. We're all thrown underwater. We're all scattered. And then I'm kind of on my own trying to find my team. And along the way, I'm seeing some pretty weird stuff going on down there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And along the way, I get a gun-type weapon to help scare away fish and stuff like that and fight some of the more bigger stuff. I mean, it's not like a Doom underwater. It's more of a... It's kind of a thriller. It's more of a tense, kind of slow burn thriller, I'd say.
Okay. What about... So when you did the voice acting for this... You went to a studio. You did it from your house.
No, I went to a studio. We did rehearsals beforehand. Yeah, it was a whole process. In the rehearsal stage, they put us in motorcycle helmets and put us in a dark auditorium. Me and the leading lady in here, Claudia, and we had to do our lines that way just to get a feel of what it'd be like underwater with a helmet on and like a claustrophobic. So. We did that, and then we went to a very small studio, and we recorded in the same studio. And sometimes the director would be shaking me around, and I was supposed to be acting like I was being tossed about, which is kind of cool. So it was a neat experience for sure.
Awesome. And how long? Do you remember how many days that took, or?
It took a while. I mean, the whole process from start to finish took about a year.
Oh, wow.
The actual recording was a couple months, but like from auditioning, rehearsals, planning. Just the extra little stuff we had to do. So it was a lot of time, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Like this is the stuff that I want to do, right? So it didn't feel like, it sounds so cheesy, but it didn't feel like a job. It felt like I was getting a chance to voice a game. So I was taking time off of my regular life and voicing a game. It was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I don't know, did we talk about this on air or off air? Did you ever beat the game?
No, yeah, we talked about this off air. So I downloaded it and I started playing, and it's a little too weird. to play with myself.
That doesn't sound right.
But so I started playing, and the game looks great. And if I weren't associated with this game at all, I'd play it because it's a compelling hook. It's a fantastic graphics, a really cool atmosphere. Play it with your headphones so you get the full being trapped underwater soundscape.
Yeah.
But so I started playing it. Then I'd hear my voice, and I was playing a character. So I was playing kind of a cocky. I guess that's not really a character. A kind of a cocky kind of professional who's starting to panic, starting to crack a little bit. Go through a bit of a psychotic break at one point. And so I was playing it. I'm like, it's just too weird hearing I can't get into this game because all I hear is, all I see is me recording these lines. And all I think is like, oh, maybe I should have done that differently. Or maybe if given the second chance, maybe I would have added this kind of like twist to the line or something. So it's kind of hard to remove yourself when you're playing with yourself in a video game.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Matt, just interject a question. Just wondering, because growing up, I like cartoons a lot, but I never thought I'd make, a profession of it. But, I mean, did somebody, I'm just curious how you really fell into this, profession. Do you wake up one day and say, I want to do this? Or did somebody perhaps say, you sound like you have a good voice for radio or something like that? Because I work with a guy whose voice, I mean, he could be on the radio. It's very baritone. He's a really tall guy. I mean, it's a very deep voice, and he sounds perfect for it. But he's never done it. But I'm just curious, how'd you get into that?
Long story. Sit back. I was right. I went to university for radio and television, and then I got a radio gig writing copy out in Canada's West, in like a town of 2,500 people. And I worked there for a year, and altogether I worked about 8-9 years in radio. And that's when I kind of got the bug for voicing commercials when they needed somebody. So I met my wife as well, who was an on-air announcer, and she's also like a morning show person, and now she does traffic. So I was throughout my whole professional life so far, been around people who do voices. And then I absolutely love gaming. But I'm I don't know code. I can't draw anything. So I'm always like, how else can I get involved in gaming? Well, I'd love to be a voice in gaming. So how do I do that? Well, I gotta be a voice actor. So I took some training, made a demo, and just started the journey of. It took a couple of years of just sending my demo out to agencies in Toronto, taking any opportunity that came by, free opportunities just to voice anything, and then an agency finally picked me up. I got rolling with that, doing a lot of commercials and other gigs, non-gaming. And then from there, I just made connections where the studio was looking for people. And then they said, hey, Matt, you should check this out. And fortunately, they picked me. So it was kind of a weird, twisty, turny journey. But I guess the short story is, I kind of did say one day, okay, I just want to do this. And it's like they always say, like, okay, what are the tiny steps to take? So pick the first step you got to take, make it, then find out what the next step is from there. So the first step was just training to be a voice actor, and the second step was demo, and it just kind of took off from there.
Cool. All right. Thanks. Growing up, I liked Ken Nordine. I don't know if you've ever not listened to his show. It's strictly audio, called Word Jazz. 2 words.
Oh, cool.
He's the voice behind the Levi's commercials, the animated, the little quirky ones, maybe back in 80s, maybe late 80s. I don't know if they were played up in Canada at the time. I'm assuming Levi's are pretty much
I can't recall them.
But anyway, he's the voice behind that and other commercials. But okay, cool.
But you don't need if you listen to me, I'm not the type of guy who's going to sell you cars or like announce the next Die Hard movie. It's just everyone needs voices, right? Like all projects need all different types of voices. The area I get a lot of jobs in is just millennial or dad next door or just a regular dude. So, but where you get jobs and where you succeed in voice acting is being able to read the scripts fluently, clearly, work with the director, add your own interpretation of the scripts and kind of bring your own flavor to it. So you might not think you have a voice for voice acting, but if you want to do voice acting, there will be a project that needs your voice. You just got to learn how to have that cadence to things and how to pick up a script the first time and just run with it and kind of knock it out of the park. So definitely, if you want to get into it, because there's no voice that you need. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good advice.
Cool.
Right.
Do it, Brian. I want to hear you.
I'm more on the coding side. If I make a game, I don't really actually play much games at all. But if I ever do, I'll hire you to be the voice part of it. So,
Please.
see,
That'd be
perfect
awesome.
match.
Yeah. Please.
Right.
Awesome. So y'all just left me out because I can't code. I'm not a good voice. I'm not. Yep. So.
You're a good voice.
I'll advertise on the radio for y'all.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Oh, I could DJ. I'll play music.
Yeah, you could do the soundtrack for a
There
game.
you
There you
go.
go.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So what other voice acting gigs have you gotten other than just games?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. I've done a lot of stuff recently in the last couple of years. Some of the more fun stuff. I've done some animation projects. There's a couple episodes of a show that never got picked up. It's a Call of Cthulhu. You know Cthulhu, the horror writer?
Oh, yes, H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, so they
story.
started.
Yep.
Yeah, they started doing Under the Mountain of Madness as an animation.
Oh yeah, good.
And I was in the 3 pilot episodes for that. So I was so hoping that would get picked up because that was such a fun project to be a part of. I've done a ton of just a ton of car stuff for some reason. Like they're moving away from the big voice into like just the guy that tries to sell, like a guy and your neighbor trying to sell you a car voice. And so I picked up a lot of jobs that way. Now I don't know if I can. I guess I can. If you buy a Hyundai in Canada over the next year, you're going to get a video with my voice welcoming you to Hyundai and telling you what to do with your car and where to service it. So I thought that was pretty neat. I've done stuff for Microsoft Xbox. I did their campaign a couple years back, which is pretty neat. So, yeah, just a really good variety. And also my friend Ted, who Mike might know, Ted Bracewell.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat one, the kid. What is it?
Combat Kids. Yeah,
Combat
I did
Kids.
about half the voices for Combat Kids and the sequel that's coming out. And that video has racked up 10 million views so far.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I showed it to the family here, man. They were like, "Wow."
Yeah, so I did about half the voices in that, and that was special to me because my son Xander did the voice for Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was a blast just getting him behind the mic and doing that stuff too. So yeah, there's been a bunch of creative stuff. I've done little projects that no one ever is going to see. Some short film voice work that no one's ever going to see, but it's all. This is really kind of like the starting stages, hopefully, of a career.
Yeah.
And last year was really good, so I'm hoping it kind of momentum kind of pushes through.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. I remember. You had did last time we talked about it that you were reading like a book or it was a zombie book.
Oh yeah,
thing.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I remember that. Yeah, so you always doing all kinds of.
You know what else? A huge part of my life right now. There's another podcast called the No Sleep Podcast. It's actually pretty popular these days. It's been going on for 10 seasons, and it's fully produced horror stories.
Oh,
right, submitted by authors, and then it's guys like me act them out or narrate them. And that's actually a paid gig, which is nice. And they put out a new episode every Sunday. And I did a live show in Toronto with them a couple months ago. And it was a big Toronto venue. We packed the place. People came from like Sweden to see us.
Wow.
Which is really neat. Yeah. So we had a worldwide following. They're going on a North America tour, February, March. I think they're actually coming to Texas too. But that's something I'm really proud of. Just to be able to read horror stories every week.
Wow,
it's a neat little thing to get involved in. Yeah.
So
No Sleep Podcast. Check it out.
Yeah. So that's mostly. I mean. You have that many people submitting, stories?
Yeah, well, it started. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Reddit?
Yeah.
So there's like creepypastas. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to like telling horror stories as if they actually happened to you. So this podcast took those stories and started to like give them voice, essentially. Yeah. and it picked up from there. And now we have like really talented authors submitting stories for us. Someone told me today, I think I'm going to get this messed up. Someone who wrote for Tomb Raider, wrote the game Tomb Raider, has submitted stories for the No Sleep podcast.
Oh, wow.
So we're getting like some really decent authors now, and it's a blast. I love it.
Awesome.
It's a cool gig. Yeah.
And do they put sound and stuff, not just voice? Is it like
no? It's a full audio play, full audio production.
Wow.
Give it a shot. I mean, if I love the Twilight Zone stuff, I love Outer Limits. Yeah. I think I was mentioning a show to you earlier, Dark Mirror. It's kind of like, it's an anthology series, so it's just 4 or 5 20-minute horror stories that you listen to every week, and it's really well done.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's good for driving or something like that. Yeah, because you said you listen to audiobooks, right?
Yeah, all day long at work. Yeah, yeah, when I'm walking. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. All right, so let me see. So you're not just focusing on gaming gigs, right? You'll do whatever comes your way.
Yeah, I'll do whatever. If you pay me, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Any.
I mean, look, that's the ultimate goal, is to be the next Troy Baker or Nolan North or name the thousands of really famous women who I can't figure out right now. Who's the Olivia? Crap, I'm gonna kick myself, but there's a lot of really good voice actors out. So I'm waiting for one of them to die so I can take over their jobs.
Take over, huh?
Yeah, because it's if you check the credits for video games, all the top games, it's always the same two or three people.
Yeah, same people.
And I'm like, give Matt a chance, man. Just like let him in there. Yeah, I'll do it for less. I'll do it for half the price. Just let me in there.
Well, now that we got that 3D cell thing, I don't think they're gonna die anytime soon. So.
Yeah, he's coming up. Put it down, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man. And so do you have a studio at your house? Like, do you ever have to record at home and send stuff out? And you do?
Yeah. I get two types of gigs. If I get booked, I'll either have to drive into Toronto to use someone's studio, or I've got a studio like just around the corner here.
Yeah,
that's a fairly professional studio that I use, and it's pretty good quality. Yeah,
cool. Is that the one you were gonna use earlier that I made you not use, or?
No. Well, that would mean I'd have to stand for this entire time, and I didn't want to do that.
Oh.
No, that's I moved into a new house. That's in a very crowded hallway right now, and this is a lot better for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Visually, it would have just been a badly put together studio right now.
Oh, okay. Cool. And let me see. And what? So you're pretty good at making different voices, huh? Like for different characters? Because I remember.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot because it never turns out right. But like,
yeah.
Yeah, I've got a range. I hope I've done everything from like an old professor to like a 5-year-old kid. So.
Cool.
I'd like to think I do, and then I see people like Maria Bamford, or like she's brilliant. She can just do voices on the turn of a dime, and then turn of a dime. That's not even a saying. But if you see voice actors, who's the guy that does Jake the dog and Bender? He can do 1,000.
Oh, that
voices.
Guy, yeah.
John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio.
You're talking about Bender Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Bender Rodriguez
or whatever. Yeah.
Although I guess it's almost always the same voice, but I'm not in their league yet. But that's practice, right? That comes with owning your craft.
Yeah.
So one day.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like on like this last Christmas, VGO, you did that. So you do those voices. Yeah, you can do voices. Yeah.
Well, that was a little inside baseball. That was the first time I actually read that script, so I was just kind of picking accents as I went along.
Oh, okay.
But that's the best way to read those VGO scripts, is just kind of.
Yeah, first time and just go.
I skimmed through it, but I was like, oh crap! I never really figured out what I'm going to do for this guy. So here we go.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
those are fun. Those are fun times.
Oh yeah, I love listening to. I still listen to that. That's one of my podcasts.
Just very quick tangent. Is VGO still on the Riotcast network?
Yes. Well, last I noticed, yeah.
Okay. I was just asking that myself. Like, I didn't see any Riotcast stuff last time. All right, cool.
Yeah. I'm waiting on a call from Michelle, because the moment she said they weren't on the right cast, they would call to maybe come on the show.
Yeah,
yeah.
I spent like 5-6 years with those guys,
Yep.
and I know it sounded bad when I left, but I think we're on pretty good terms now, and I super respect what they do. They've done VGO for a long time, and they're carrying that brand, and they're doing a lot of cool things with it. So good for them.
Yeah. No, but I know I reached out to Michelle. John never responded, but Michelle did. But she told me that since she's with Riotcast, they're doing a lot of different shows. Like she's making the rounds, with their people, and didn't have time, But
she's big.
Yeah,
Gotta catch that rising star.
Yep. That's why I called you, buddy.
Thanks.
Before you're too big for you'd be like, oh, sorry, buddy.
Never.
Cool. So okay, so voice acting, do you consider it your full-time job?
I consider it my full-time pursuit.
Okay.
But the stuff that pays the bills and keeps my family. No, actually, voice acting has been pretty good, but I've been writing for a decade. Like that is more than a decade since I graduated. So about 17 years has been writing. Writing now, it's a lot of corporate gig stuff. So a lot of, trade magazines, websites, reports and stuff for companies. But that's why I really love the voicing, because that's the creative end of things. Just as you port your heart into the show and DJing, but you've got a daily gig. I'm pouring my heart and soul into voice acting, but I've still got the daily gig as well. Like it's where you got to start out, right? And slowly but surely, maybe start switching, right?
Yeah,
who knows?
Exactly.
But the voicing last year, like I said, it was really good. So I'm hoping maybe this year I can lean on it a bit more. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds
and
good.
you must have heard. I mean, on VGO, that's when the journey started, right? Like 3 years ago, I was telling those guys like I want to be a voice actor.
Yep.
Here's my demo, and then John ripped it to shreds.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember that. That was funny.
So you probably you've probably heard that whole progression from me getting my first gig to demo to where I am now. So I mean, everyone's got a different journey in this stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. I mean, that's pretty awesome that you're doing it. You're doing what you want to do, man.
I'm trying. You know what? If it sputters and fails, I can say I did a game at one point.
Oh yeah.
I had a lot of fun. People thought I was good enough to have on their podcast for a certain period of time, so I'll consider it a success, and I'll find something else to do. But I really want to make this what I do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, that's how I see a lot of things. Like, this radio thing that I'm doing. Not just the show. I mean, this is my show, but there's like 5 other shows that I produce here, and that's all week. And I don't know. We started off as kind of like, oh, well, it's just something we do on the side. Now it's like we kind of want to make this the main, our main job. It's like it's fun. Yeah. It's something we like to do, and we started like around the same time a lot of other stations started, and they're no longer around, and we're still here. And that's kind of like, man, we're really doing something, getting a lot of attention and stuff. So
sticking with it's half the battle in this stuff, man.
It is. That's why I was like, you're doing it, man. You keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, likewise, bud.
Yes,
likewise.
sir. Yes, sir. All right, Brian, do you got anything else?
Well, I have a question for Matt.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just wondering, I mean, if you have the inclination, or I'm not sure, keeping with the, I guess, agreements with the companies. I'm just curious. I mean, the overall question is, I'm thinking of it kind of like in maybe the music industry. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with, but is it kind of a one-time kind of contractual basis? You do recording for a game or a gig or whatnot, and is that just a one-time payment to you, or is it a concept of royalties? Every time something is played, you get that's why I'm curious how that really works. I'm sure it's kind of varies across the board, but just
I think it's a great question. I I've never heard of royalties in voice acting. I think it's from the voice actors I've talked to, and I did interview Troy Baker last year too. I do writing for Guinness World Records, and I interviewed Troy Baker, and it's basically you get a nice check at the beginning, but then that's it. And that's why you hear voice actors went on strike too, I think in 2017, is because more and more games rely heavily on voice acting to tell their story and make and be the game. Like The Last of Us wouldn't be the game it was without its amazing story, or any of it, Uncharted. But these voice actors are getting like just a tiny fraction of the game's profits. And that's fine. A ton of other talented people make a game, and that's cool. But so now they're arguing like maybe we should get royalties like a musician. If you're gonna, if this is gonna persist and you're making like scads of money off this, maybe we should get kind of a cut, right? So I think you're gonna see
my vote.
I think so.
Exactly.
I mean, sure.
Okay. But it just depends on where the project's going to be used, right? If it'll be a nice paycheck if it's going on TV. It'll be a decent paycheck if it's going to be a web video, and then it's still an okay paycheck if it's just going to be something that someone's doing for their own project for their company. But it is a one-time payment, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. The royalty thing. I was expecting that, like, for like, let's say if you were doing a cartoon, but but then again, you're probably doing an episode. You're constantly doing episodes and you're getting paid for each episode. Yeah, but I was thinking if it got like, somebody else picked it up and was playing reruns, wouldn't you get money from that? So that's what.
Yeah.
It seems
maybe
like
down the road,
would.
maybe top people do, but I've never heard of royalties in voice acting.
Yeah.
But I'm not an expert in it by any. But I've never heard of that.
Yeah, no.
And that's why I think you're going to see that changing, because voice acting is becoming huge with audiobooks, web projects, games. It's just becoming a lot more voices out there.
Sweet.
So, and it's great because I'm a lazy person by nature, so I can work in my PJs and I don't have to go to an office. It's awesome.
Not have to go. Yep. Sounds good, man. No, do you have anything else you'd like to, throw out there about that? Like maybe how people can get in touch with you if somebody's listening or listens later on and they need a voice actor. How can they get in touch with Matt Bradford?
Matt Bradford can be contacted. I guess Twitter at Matto McFly, MattoMcFly. Or they can ask you and you can ask me. I guess I don't know.
Sure. Sounds good. Twitter.
No, I'm just the stuff I'm just proudest of these days is I do Zombie Cast with Ted and Sean Freeman, who's also a DJ.
Yep.
Who you guys should get together and talk with.
Yeah, I know.
I have some DJ stories.
Yep.
So I do Zombie Cast every Monday. That's a horror sci-fi podcast. Doing that for years as well, and No Sleep, like I said. And right now, the biggest thing I'm doing is working on the next Guinness World Records Gamers Edition. So I'm kind of deeply embedded in that stuff, which is fun. That's another kind of hobby of mine. Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, anything else, Brian? You got anything for him? You good?
I'm good. Very interesting.
Right. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you pretending I'm a big deal. It makes me feel...
You're a big deal, buddy.
All the acting. No.
You are. Even before I always listen to you on VGO. I'm a big fan, so come on.
Yeah. That's great. And I miss VGO. I think I'm much better in small doses on VGO. I think it works out for both sides. So.
For both sides. Yeah, I noticed the last time John wasn't too crazy when you were on.
You know what? John acts. I think we're friends now. I think after how many years? I think we're finally at the point where we're friends. But I don't know.
Are you sure? I don't know.
He'll deny it.
He'll deny it. I know he will.
I think he's cool.
Yeah, that's how he is with everybody. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah,
except for the other Matt that he whispers.
Matt McCarthy.
Yeah, Matt McCarthy. Yeah, that guy. He's not like that with him, but
No, I wish I could be Matt McCarthy.
Hey man, that dude's awesome.
He's a nice guy. I found him on Twitter.
I bet he's great at gaming. He's like a championship gamer type dude, and then he knows how to play music and sing and everything. So yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Kill Screens, that's their band too, John and Matt. I don't know why I'm pitching their stuff.
Yeah, right.
Find it on yourself.
The Kill Screens. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, or I would be playing it on SCP Radio, but you know, yeah,
I like it. Okay. I like the electronica stuff. The Blade Runner 2049 soundtrack was like,
oh man, yeah, you like that? Oh, it's incredible.
Love it. Yeah, that movie was incredible.
And the Esper edition, that would be a whole Esper edition of the original Blade Runner. You can find it on YouTube. Yeah, I like all the music. Vangelis or Vangelis. I can't remember if the G is soft or hard, but I think it's Vangelis.
That's that synthwave stuff, right? Yeah.
He's Greek. Yeah, it's his part of his name. He has a huge long name, but yeah.
We're
very cool. Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
All righty then. I guess that's it. So
thanks guys. That was a blast. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, Matt, and Brian and Faithy for being here.
Yes. Thanks, Faithy, again.
Yeah. Thanks to all the listeners. We really appreciate you guys. You can find more about us on scpradio.com. On Twitter, we're at Space Cadet Pro. Facebook, same thing, Space Cadet Pro. Instagram is SCP Radio. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher app. You can email us at scpradio@spacecadetpro.com. If you got a question for Brian, scpradio@spacecadetpro.com. You heard Matt was Matto McFly on Twitter. Leave us here at SCP Radio a voicemail at 832-910-7727. And thanks again for joining us live, or if you downloaded the on-demand version, thank you for doing that. And hope to see everybody back next week and for another episode of Source Code News. So see y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Guys, so next January?
Next January. Yeah. I'll schedule in now, Matt. I'll schedule it.
No, really. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I've got to run to go spend time with the wifey, but
yes, sir. All right.
We'll talk soon, I'm sure.
Sure. See ya.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Brian. Nice meeting you.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. You too. Take care. Bye.
This is your boy, Light Jockey Mike, and I just wanted to thank you for supporting SCP Radio. That's the end of our show, but please be sure to check us out on spacecadetpro.com, where you will be able to watch our videos, find and like all of our social media accounts, and chat with us. While you are there, click on the radio tab, where you will be able to see the show schedule and all of the different ways to reach us. You can also listen to us from there if you are on a PC or laptop. Thanks again, and remember, we are the future in entertainment.